Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of F122 My Team here on the ChesnoidPlays YouTube channel and the Chesnoid Gaming Twitch channel. Link down below if you want to come across and join me and watch these live in their entirety. Of course, alternatively, continue to watch the highlights here on YouTube. We are at Miami. We struggled here last year, a P20 finish, and the AI were particularly strong in a straight line. It was the first time we really noticed that there was an issue and that it needed fixing. However, the game has been patched since. We've altered our difficulty and, well, cloudy, but we shouldn't see any rain at any point in any of the important sessions. P1 might have some rain in it by the looks of things, but we won't find out until we get there. We have made a jump above Aston Martin in the R&D progress, and we're not far off Haas nor McLaren now as well. We have things in the works also for the next Grand Prix, which is good news. And hopefully we'll raise enough resource points today to be able to add something else on the aero side as well. Although obviously it would take a while to actually be developed and come onto the car. We're going to be changing a couple of components between practice and the race. But moving forward, there's nothing else to alter before we just head to the track. So let's head to the track. Drop the video a like if you're enjoying, of course. And like I say, make sure you subscribe to this channel and following over on Twitch. Let's head to the track. 2 tenths off in a straight line down the straight with this setup. We're not going to be fast enough to do the quali pace program. I'd be tempted to take some more downforce out, but maybe only just a teeny bit. Because we were slow in a number of areas that weren't the straight line, or slower in a number of areas that weren't the straight line compared to the previous setup we were running. I don't know whether I'm happy with that or not. We'll just round out the rest of our practice program via the quick practice feature, but we're there or thereabouts, I think, with the feel of the car. But that straight line speed is going to be the difference between whether we do or do not have a good race weekend. And then we'll do the one more on track acclimatization. So we should get a decent haul of resource points here as well. You imagine Nico Hülkenberg will give us a good 300 to 400. Oh god, 70% chance of getting it done, and twice it's failed. Here we go. That's everything done in practice then, so very happy with that. We'll end the session. I'll change my engine parts for qualifying, and then we shall go for broke in qualifying. But I should be able to raise enough resource points to do something with regards to the aero on the front. I think it was front we wanted to do over rear next, before we get the opportunity to improve elsewhere. So I'm going to put a new ICE in. I'm going to put a new gearbox in. And that's probably it for now, but that's what we'll do headed towards qualifying. And let's head towards qualifying now. We'll see the resource point gain. We'll add the next resource, the next research and development part. 525 resource points from Nico. Thank you, sir. Excellent. That's what we need from him. Him putting in performances like that are what's going to help us improve the car quicker and quicker and quicker as time goes on. But first, qualifying around the Hard Rock Stadium. We're going to go about 3 tenths quicker, there or thereabouts. And that's going to... P10! Wow! Good enough for P10. We did put in a purple middle sector. And we're P10 with that lap. Through to Q2 then. And, well, 129 flat. Very pleased with that. Still 1.3 effectively seconds off the pace. But where's Nico? Did he make it through? I imagine not. Dead bloody last. Why did we go with Nico Hülkenberg? Because apparently he's fucking useless. We felt like we had about a second in the pocket. We were 130 flat with our banker lap and 129 flat with our best time from the previous session. We look like we are about to similarly replicate our Q1 time. We might be able to go slightly faster. Might be into the 27s here. Sorry, the 28s we are. So 128.7, which is good enough for P12. So not a spectacular lap, compared to everyone else, but we went faster in Q2 than we did in Q1 by about 2.5, maybe 0.3. So it's going to be a P12 start for us, barring any penalties. Now, I'm told by my Twitch chat that last season we qualified P11, started P10, thanks to a penalty, but as we well know, we finished P20 and didn't have a great weekend. So I'm not riding too much hope yet, but that was a 1:29.9 last year, a 1:28.7. So we're 1.2 seconds a lap faster this year than we were last year, and qualifying basically exactly where we were. The race will be difficult, but we shall do our damnedest to finish as high as possible. Now, the first thing we want to do is actually put those resource points on. The team are very nearly at acclaim level 17. We're nearly at level 15 personally. Need to be at level 15 to get some extra boosts with the driver perks, and hopefully we'll be able to do that sooner rather than later. But first things first, let's go and put some resource points into the aero on the car and try and improve it moving forward to give us better performance throughout the rest of Season 2. So messages will be telling us that the weather is going to be overcast, but certainly dry throughout the whole race. So then, it was aero wanted to do, and it was the front aero as opposed to the rear aero first. So we'll do that. We've got 900 resource points left. Now with the savings, we can actually almost afford the rear downforce, but we can't afford anything else there. I can't afford anything else there. And I can't afford anything else there. Do I do durability? I could maybe do some durability. Gearbox durability might be important for the rest of the season. MTUK development might be important. I think I'd rather occasionally take the odd penalty and just concentrate on the powertrain, chassis, and aero. So I'm going to save those resource points. We're not going to spend them on the durability of the car, and we're going to jump to the race where we shall figure out our strategy and also find out where we actually start. Maybe there'll be a penalty somewhere else. We'll find out. So the grid. Charles Leclerc has been getting pole more often than not recently, and does so again. It's George in P2 with a 1:27.480, just 1.5 tenths or so off the pace. Behind them, Hamilton and Verstappen. Carlos Sainz somewhere, he was only 2 tenths off, so not a penalty. He's just off the pace slightly. The top 5, though, separated by 2 tenths, shows just how fast and how competitive it is at the front. No penalties anywhere, it seems then. So we start P12. Unfortunately for our teammate, he's going to start at the bloody back. I don't understand why Nico Hülkenberg is as slow as he is. Maybe I need to put some money into the second driver with regards some of the resource and development stuff that we do and upgrade the facilities. Maybe that's why I'm not getting as much out of my second driver. I'm not sure. Right then, strategy-wise, it reckons I need 5 laps worth of extra fuel. Yikes. Reckons that a soft medium is the fastest way around this circuit. I could go 3-stop, but that's certainly not the fastest way around the circuit. Do I really need 5 laps worth of extra fuel? Is it that thirsty here? Surely I don't need 5 laps worth. We'll go for 3.8 laps worth. But I'm being told by Twitch that I might even need to fill by more. Really? 13 laps on the soft, so we can extend slightly and go a little bit quicker. We'll try that. Soft, medium, with 4.5 laps worth of extra fuel. We have, as per your suggestion in the comments section, though, turned on manual formation laps. And to see if that helps with regards our tyre temps and our starts. So maybe that will help my starting. We'll wait and see. I'll go and manage my tyre temps accordingly. Try and get the tyres as warm as possible. And maybe that will help our start. I will see you at the start of the race. Oh, I've not done this before. Trying to spot my own spot on the grid. This is something new. We've not done this before. Decent parking. But I could probably have gone about a foot further forward. But I didn't want to risk getting a penalty. So tyre temps are alright. Let's see where we end up finishing then. We have a better start, maybe. It's not a bad start. You guys want me to be more aggressive. A lot more aggressive. Oh, I've been far too aggressive there. I might have overdone that. You guys want me to be more aggressive with race starts. So I will be slightly more aggressive, but evidently not quite as aggressive as that. Someone else is being even more aggressive than me. We'll get there, don't worry. Stick up the inside. Who is that on my outside? It's someone in a something. Oh my god. I'm just not suited to going aggressive at the start, am I? Bumps all around, left, right and centre. A warning for a collision with Alex Albon. It's taken 5 or 6 attempts, but I've been as aggressive as I dare at the start. I've got an Haas on my inside, trying to get me down to P14. See what we can do. You can quite clearly see the difference in straight line speed. So we're going to be using a lot of our battery in these parts of the track, I think, throughout the course of the race. Yellow flags in front for something. That's Lando Norris, parked and out of the race. Now, did he crash? Virtual safety car as well. Lando Norris is out. Oh, he's hit the back of someone, and he has genuinely lost a tyre. Outbraked himself into the back of the Alpine. Whether it's done the Alpine much damage as well, I'm not sure, but that's Lando Norris out of the Grand Prix. Now, obviously, it took us a while to actually sort out the start, but in the chat and in the comment section, tell me, do you think doing the formation lap ourselves and being slightly more aggressive on the start has worked, or was that just a clusterfuck and I should maybe be still continually a little bit apprehensive at the beginning? If I'm to get more aggressive at the start, we are going to have to put up with multiple restarts like that, because it's just not my chosen way to drive. But we're P13 at the minute. Alexander Albon into the pits, so we're going to be back up to P12. I'm going to have to use my battery to start this straight, and then I'm going to have to use my battery to raise my overall top speed as well. But provided we have enough battery, we're going to be able to hopefully challenge well enough throughout the course of this Grand Prix down that straight. But I'm going to have to make sure that I manage my battery accordingly, and it's going to be very, very tough to do that for a full Grand Prix. I still envisage us going backwards, but at the moment we are P12 and holding it.
Okay, battery's looking good. You can use the overtake button to get past.
I want us to take these tyres to lap 13.
DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
By default, it was lap 12. So we are actually trying to overcut on the rest of the grid, or the rest of the field. I envisage then pit those that started on softs pitting on, on lap 12. Maybe even slightly earlier. We do have DRS here, and I am going to need it. As soon as I lose DRS, that's when we're vulnerable. Behind, they got a bit fruity with one another. They got a bit tasty, and it's cost them time, which is good news for me. Now, what we didn't see, because we manually did the formation lap, is what tyres everyone else is on. Albon started on softs, as did Yuki Tsunoda, so we can take out them from the equation. Lewis has jumped from P3 to P1, but mainly because he's on softs and the others around him are on hards or mediums. Alonso, the other soft starter. Everyone behind us, I believe, is probably on softs. Lando actually started on hards, but obviously out now. So the majority probably matching our strategy. And given the nature of the fact that we are as slow as we are, I'm probably going to have to as slow in a straight line as we are, I'm probably going to have to match their strategy so I can maximise my use of DRS, because having DRS for as many laps as we can possibly have it is going to be a big deciding factor for us as to how competitive we are throughout the course of the whole Grand Prix. And hopefully opening a gap behind us to Zhou Guanyu will go a long way in aiding that. They are really slow into the final turn at the minute, whilst the field is all caught up behind each other. DRS again here, trying to regain as much battery as I can in the braking zones, but rather evidently it's still going down considerably lap on lap. Gasly and Bottas getting very aggressive with one another. Charles Leclerc up front, still setting fastest laps. Just want to grow the lap behind. Grow the lap behind, grow the gap behind. Bottas on his hard tyres, now down to P11. He's playing the long game, Valtteri. They are getting slow here. We might have the opportunity to make an overtake. Alternatively, we might have the opportunity to make an accident. It's only going to force us back towards Zhou Guanyu, etc., which is not where I want to be. I was trying to extend the gap on those behind, but those in front battling has actually lost us more time, but we have been able to gain a position thanks to it. And Bottas doesn't have DRS here, so I'm going to make a move on Valtteri Bottas if I can. We can be 3 abreast into this. I'm going to go deep, I'm going to go wide, and we are up into P10. That was actually really, really well done, if I say so myself. And what I do want to do is make sure that we get a photo opportunity of that here for a thumbnail. Tyres are 20% worn after 5 laps. And we're just going to drop off the back of Pierre Gasly now, aren't we? Now's where it becomes difficult. Because I'm not going to have DRS in front. Yellow flags in front though, apparently. Something's happened with someone. Who that someone is, I'm not sure. I think there's a Mercedes going slowly. There is indeed a Mercedes going slowly. We're going to gain another position here. There he is. It's Lewis Hamilton's engine has let go. But I've had to use a lot of battery there. But we're able to maintain the position to Valtteri Bottas. But I am definitely losing time on Pierre Gasly. So at the minute, we've gone from attacking. Now it's going to be the defensive phase of the Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton is out of the session. Valtteri Bottas being on hard tyres is going to do us a favour though. Provided nobody on softs gets past him, we hopefully will be able to hold position. I'm just watching that rearview mirror and look, here comes Valtteri. Have a look here, Valtteri Bottas. I think we might get DRS though. We do. Look at the speed of it. I've got DRS and he's that much faster than me. Try and hold the position though, which we've done. This is where defending comes in. We just have to give up on getting any higher at the minute. It's all about trying to stay where we are. I think I'm still going to pick 12 rather than take it all the way to 13.
We're approaching the pit window. You're going to be on softs.
Bottas having another look. Not getting it done. I'm going to go defensive here. Hold the position continually, although Valtteri is very keen. I mean, it's not necessarily helping his race at all. It's not helping anyone's race. I've got a bit of a train behind me now, don't I? Here he comes again. I'm going to go defensive. Went for the switchback. It didn't work. Others in front are pitting off their softs. Alonso and Gasly both pitting. We're going to pit this lap.
You're now running in P7.
Mick Schumacher had a look at the inside of Bottas. Takes Valtteri Bottas. And also Makes a little bit of contact with the back of my car. We are going to pit this lap though. To be fair, we've defended very well throughout the course of this stint. I should have gone defensive here really. Mick might think about having a look. He is going to go a little bit deeper. Might be able to save some battery here. He went a little bit wide. He was a little bit. So we're going to pit then. I'm happy enough with this first stint, I have to be honest. Albeit we are losing time battling with everyone as hard as we are. But into the pits for the first of 2 planned stops for a set of medium tyres. Others pitting behind me. Quick stop, please, gentlemen. 2.3 seconds will do very nicely indeed. Unfortunately, didn't earn much battery back from stopping. I was kind of hoping that we'd save more on the battery, but only 30 to 40% saved. So we've come out of the pits 4.5 seconds in front of Lance Stroll, 7 seconds now behind Pierre Gasly. The gap prior to the stop was about 5, so we've lost the front wing. We've lost about 2.5 tenths to Pierre Gasly. Sorry, 2.5 seconds to Pierre Gasly between him overtaking and the pit stop, or him pitting, sorry, and the pit stop, because obviously he did an extra lap. Sorry, we did an extra lap than him. Come on, brain. But I'm going to try and undercut those that stayed out, albeit on time, more so than track position. Obviously, Bottas is going to be staying out anyway because he was on hard tyres. I'm going to take these to lap 26 and then try and take the mediums we put on a lap 26. 30 laps. Nico Hulkenberg in the pits. Sebastian Vettel in the pits. We're going to gain some positions here. Magnussen. There's a Haas in there as well. I'm not sure if that's the one we were fighting. No, it's Zhou Guanyu that was behind us. So Mick Schumacher has gone another lap, which should further play into our hands, I hope, provided we're fast enough.
Okay, Nico's into the pits. Nico in the pits.
So we're back up to P11, with, I believe, just Mick left to pit. Or Mick and Bottas, but obviously Bottas not stopping. Okay. Let's double check and have a look. Yes, indeed. Just Mick Schumacher and then those that were on the harder compounds stopping. Technically, because he was the lead car, he was the furthest up the field, Mick Schumacher should have gotten pit priority over his teammate, but they've gone with Zhou Guanyu instead. And that might, again, play in our favour, meaning that Mick has to do an extra lap on his now pretty damned worn soft tyres. Expecting Mick in this lap. He's the only one on softs left to pit. Still fighting hard with Valtteri Bottas, though, evidently. If you look at the minimap, top left of the minimap, there's still the orange dot right behind the white dot. Now the white dot pits. So Mick is in. And now we find out whether we've been able to gain any time on him. Oh, it makes a difference to be able to slow down enough in time for that corner. And the answer is going to be a pretty resounding yes. We are going to gain time on Mick Schumacher. He's just pulled out of his pit box. Mick was right with us when we pit. And we're going to open up about a 2-second gap. So we're very, very pleased with that. Now he's going to have about half a lap where his tyres need to warm up. So through this section we should see that gap grow, and indeed we have, by another couple of tenths. Which again gives us a bit more respite. Currently running P10 and in the points after one stop. And this might be a bit of a lonely stint unless Mick closes us, but I'm hoping, provided I drive well, that my pace in the middle sector will be fast enough to mean that even though they're very quick, without DRS, I should be able to hold the gap to Mick. I'm hoping. I'm going to try and hold the gap to Mick, but I'm going to have to drive very well to do that. And I haven't necessarily started that very well in this particular highlight. So if you will bear with me, I'm going to shut up and put up. Time to put in the lap times. Fuel update, 3.35 laps.
You're increasing the gap on the car behind.
What did we start with? 4. We started with 4 laps worth of extra fuel. So we've used 0.7 of a lap's worth extra fuel. We did spend half a lap behind a virtual safety car as well, we should remember. So we probably only needed about 2.5 laps worth of extra fuel come the end of the race, maybe. About a third of the way through. And that gap to Mick is growing. I think mainly because he's fighting with Kevin Magnussen. So we are definitely running a lonely stint right now. But I don't care about that. I'm running a lonely stint in the bloody points. Thank you, Kevin Magnussen, for keeping Mick Schumacher occupied. I appreciate it very much indeed. There's a whole group behind Mick as well. It's not just K-Mag. There's then both Alfa Romeos and an Aston Martin in there too.
They've got some kind of mechanical problem.
Thank you very much for the...
Tommy Chew, send it.
Sending it. Thank you very much for the donation, my friend. I shall read that in a moment. Let me go on to the next straight. Bottas is currently P7 in an Alpine sandwich. Stuck between Ocon and Alonso, if you look at the minimap. With Ocon P8, as we can see, top left, that means Bottas is P7. Honestly, couldn't be happy with how this race is going so far. We had a terrible time at Miami on the first attempt round here, with the straight line speed of the AI being slightly frustrating. Evidently, in the first stint, when cars were with us and within DRS range, we did struggle to maintain any distance behind, but we were able to, and we did lose time to those in front as well. But those in front have now pit again. Bottas is still out on those original hard tyres. Gap is just under 10 seconds now. Now back over 10 seconds.
8.4 seconds.
And again, we're going a couple of laps longer than those that have pit already. But still fully expect that gap to Gasly to grow. But now that we're just battling in our own air, we are actually able to extend the gap on those behind that don't have DRS. If a couple of those behind Mick were running with free air, they might close the gap. But the most important thing for us at the minute is that it's a Haas that's in front of that group, which is not too dissimilar from our car in terms of outright pace. And then also our pace through the middle sector is actually maintaining our maintaining our pace. I'd say at the minute, absolutely do not do a safety car dance. No. At the minute, a safety car might ruin our potential race, because it will bring back to the rear of us those cars that are faster, or potentially faster than me in a straight line. I'm not going to catch those in front, and even if I did catch those in front, I wouldn't be able to pass them. They would just extend beyond me. But, oh my god. Hello, Esteban Ocon. He's obviously spun. We saw Sebastian Vettel do this last time we were here. He spun, parked it on the racing line, and then we had real issues trying to get past him. He's going to be now reversing, trying to sort his position out. Now that we know he's there, we can avoid him. He'll now continue to try and get himself the right way around. So, safety... Oh, brilliant. Yeah, of course. Now, would you consider it cheating here if I nipped into the pits and put my mediums on now? Probably, because I'm already past it. So, We will continue on,
Strategy option.
but I will pit next time around. Because the safety car's coming out here, but it's not going to catch us yet. So we'll have the opportunity.
The safety car's waiting for the leader. You can overtake it. Overtake the safety car.
Although the delta is dropping, I am going to have to go a bit slower.
Right, drop your speed. Our delta's too low.
A number
We're
of
gonna
cars.
risk a penalty.
A number of cars in the pits now, getting a cheap stop. But I'm going to be forced into making my pit stop. But I am going to lose. I'm going to lose a number of places here. Just because, unfortunately, we didn't nip into the pits early enough. If we'd thought about it, I should have thought that's going to cause a safety car. I'm going to pit and preempted it. I didn't. And as such, we're not going to be able to take advantage of that safety car. And actually, it's going to cost us time. Now, I've also noticed that I can't speak to my... engineer. So I'm going to mid-session save and we're going to restart the game so that that bug disappears. We'll continue on from where we were and be able to speak to Mark so that I can say, I'm going to bloody well pit, mate. Reckons I'll still come out 10th if I pit. Not sure about that.
Car ahead's coming to fit the mediums. Car ahead now running medium tyres.
So we're now pitting. Onto a set of medium tyres. Now I don't know how many places we're going to potentially lose here. Probably quite a few. Certainly those 4. So we are down to P10.
Fantastic stop. Faster than we were expecting.
So it's cost us 1 position.
See these tyres through to the end now.
No, it's cost us 2 because we overtook Ocon, didn't we? So it's cost us 2 positions, that stop. But Zhou Guanyu in front hasn't pit for another set of tyres. So we're not pitting again. And we know that Zhou Guanyu does have to. So we're P10 and hoping to get to P9 with Zhou Guanyu's stop. We know that Théo Pourchaire behind us has to... So look, so many drivers have gone soft, soft, soft. So everybody that's soft, soft, soft behind us has to pit again. Whereas ourselves and Mick don't. They are obviously going to be ludicrously fast throughout this pit stop phase. And it's going to be practically impossible to stay behind them. Sorry, stay ahead of them. But we know that they have to pit again. And we don't. We're now taking these medium tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. It saved my battery up as well, actually, which is nice. Safety car will probably end on lap 26. So Zhou Guanyu in front has to pit again. Nobody else around us, or nobody else in front, other than Zhou Guanyu in 9th, has to pit again. Only 2 of the cars behind us aren't pitting again as well. Mick, Yuki, Esteban... No, yeah, and Esteban's still in the race. Mick, Yuki, Esteban and Alexander Albon. Everyone else behind us has to pit again. There we go. Green flag racing again. We're underway.
Okay, clear.
Now, no DRS for 2 laps after a safety car restart. So no DRS till lap 29. Bottas struggling here, seemingly. At the minute, at least they were fighting perhaps. Now, Théo is getting very interested at the minute on those soft tyres.
Catching the car ahead.
As will a number of those behind on their soft tyres. But with the field so bunched up now, hopefully we should be able to remain competitive. Going to get Tasty into T1. Sorry, not T1. The end of the straight. May well get Tasty into T1 as well. The Zhou Guanyu's tyres are going to be worn, so he's going to be slower. We should be faster than Zhou. So if I can get past him before his pit stop, that would be even better. And we might be able to do that. I'm going to stick in the slipstream. I'm too far behind. Or am I? No, we're not. Dive bomb. Lick the stamp, send it. P9. Teo Porcheri's now also past Zhou Guanyu as well. DRS from next lap. How did Teo get through? Teo got through around the outside here. Nipped up the inside before the chicane. Got the move done. Nicely done by Teo Porcheri. Shame he never did that in the Chesnoid racing car, isn't it? Max is slow on these hard tyres as well, isn't he? Max Verstappen on hards. Not pit yet. Those hard tyres are very slow. We're going to have DRS here as well.
Great manoeuvre. You made it look so easy.
Oh, no DRS. DRS is enabled this lap. But if we check the race director... Oh, no, Max doesn't need to pit again. I thought for a minute Max needed to pit again. But he's on fresh hards. We're on fresh mediums. We should be kind of competitive with him. Annoyingly, again, Gasly's been able to scamper off down the road and open a gap on us, meaning we won't be able to catch him. So again, unless there's another safety car, P8 is as far as we will get today. But with the nature of the field around us and the nature of the tyres and pit stop strategies as they are, we are potentially in with a chance of scoring some, if not a singular, point today. And again, it's Operation Defend for Your Life, as it was in Stint 1. But Max is going to be under pressure from Teo behind with his soft tyres on. So we're in a really good spot right now. A really good spot. Now look at the minimap. Zhou Guanyu in his Haas in P11 is on worn mediums. Quite significantly worn mediums. And as such, is holding up everybody behind him that can't get past. Which is just buying us more and more and more time to get down the road. Probably going to be defending from Max every single lap until he gets past. We're not going to get a respite at all. It's going to be battle, 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 fight, fight, fight. But at least it's only the two cars behind us. We won't drop any lower than 10th. Might just have to let him have the place, you know. Although... holding on around the outside to then go up the inside. Speaking of up the inside. Thanks, Max. Verstappen literally just drove right into the side of me. Thankfully, it didn't cause me any damage. I don't know whether it did him. We'll have a look. Oh, he locks up. Does he lock the rear or the front? I think he locks the rear, you know. Got right on board. Yeah, he locks his rear brakes up, goes into the side of me. Thankfully, well, actually, was that a bit of damage coming off there? I think it was debris of his car. Yeah, he's lost the end plate on the left-hand side of his car, but that, thankfully for me, was front wing to wheel contact, so it hasn't done. Or does that get? Yeah, it hasn't done the side pod or floor any damage to my car. So Max is now going to have a loss of downforce through these twisty bits, although it might inadvertently make him a little bit quicker down the straights, actually, annoyingly. But he's dropping back, and he may well pit off that. He should be able to manage it for the rest of the race, given the performance advantage that the Red Bull has on the majority of the rest of the field. But knowing that the game is the game, he will probably pit off that. And then it will screw the rest of his race, because he won't have another set of hard or medium tyres to go to. He will now just run soft. He'll pit and then just run soft to the end. Which he can absolutely do. He's got 2 sets of new soft tyres to use. It just sucks for him that that's going to ruin any chance he had of making it back through the field. But whose fault is it? His. So we don't care. We don't care. Yeah, Max in the pits. And, as you quite rightly pointed out, Teo's in the pits as well. surely not for tyres. Teo must have had damage battling there as well. So Teo also got damage to his front wing in that same incident. Max locked up, hit me, must have swung back and hit Teo. So they both have had to pit for new front wings. We are on for a fight with Mick Schumacher over a P8 finish. Ourselves and Mick Schumacher are going to battle for time and then for position, probably, to the end of the race for a P8 finish. Nico somehow is up into P10, although, as we've mentioned before, he and all of the other current soft runners are going to have to pit again. Evidently, there is still a long way to go before we're challenging for podiums or Grand Prix victories. But the progress is there right now, because we were battling for a P10 regardless of the safety car. The mediums are going to be very, very worn at the end, but everybody else is in the same boat. That's the thing. Everybody else is doing the exact... Everybody else that's currently on a medium is doing the exact same thing. So their tyres will wear just as much as ours. We do have a fresh set of hards we could go to. But I've only got used sets of softs. And there's no way... I still wish there was a way you could find out how used that used set is. As far as I'm aware, there is no way to tell how used that used set is without putting them on the car. As soon as those soft runners come in and pit for a set of mediums, I'm going to see where it reckons will come out. And I may pit for those new hards with like 10 laps to go if I'm going to be in a competitive position. I don't know whether fresh hards would be faster than 13 or 14 lap mediums. I'll do everything I can to avoid the extra pit, but at least we know that it's there as an option should we feel like we need it. Yellow flag. Is that Mick? Mick's retiring! Oh, I'm too busy looking at the minimap. Mick is retiring from behind us. Wait for it. Bang! Goes the Ferrari engine. Mick's retiring from behind us. Points for the boys today. Points for the boys today. Let's go. We are absolutely 100% definitively going to get points today without another safety car. Unless there's another safety car. If there's another safety car, we might be in trouble. P8, and with a gap behind to Zhou Guanyu on worn mediums. He'll be pitting within the next 5 laps or so. But in the meantime, we're just going to extend that gap on him more and more and more and more. Provided, he says, Yuki Tsunoda doesn't get past. Which is exactly what Yuki Tsunoda had now done and has now done. They were battling, but Yuki is now past. Now, Yuki is going to be faster than me. So we still might have a fight on our hands a little bit later on in the Grand Prix. But for the time being, we are running in clean air with no pressure in front and no pressure behind. We are trying to finish P8 here in Miami, which would be our second best ever finish. Yeah. So those behind us that have pit onto fresh mediums are going to be fast enough that it negates any extra stop that we might think about making. Because they're going to close the gap. But evidently we won't be caught even remotely quick enough for it to cause us an issue. If I pit now, I'll come out 12th on new hards. But that gap will close and it will change to me coming out further back than 12th later. I could, if needed, pit to fresh hards and hope that my fresh hards are faster than the worn mediums of whoever it is that we're trying to catch. But with 18 laps to go, including this one, these tyres are 30% worn. Which is a lot. 30% wear after 14 laps. And with 18 to go, these tyres are going to be hanging on at the end of the Grand Prix. Seriously hanging on. But the gap to Yuki is growing, as well as the gap to Pierre. So at the minute, we have all of the buffer we need behind to run on 70% worn tyres and still finish P8. Yeah, but I know used softs would be better, Tamiku, but we don't know how used they are. I could put that soft set on, and they might be 30% worn already. It might be the set I took off to put this set of medium tyres on. There's no way to tell. There is just as high a chance that it could be the set I just took off as there is that it could be the set from qualifying that have done minimal running. I could do a mid-session save and then go in. But would that count as cheating? Because technically in real life, I'd be able to ask what set that soft set are, or how worn that soft set are. I could say, how used is that used set? And they'd go, they've done 3 laps, or they've done 15 laps. There is no way for me to tell that with the options that the game gives you. So technically, I should be allowed to know exactly how many laps those tyres have done. So I will set that to used, and we'll pit. I'll do a mid-session save. We will pit and find out what they're on. In fact, no, not yet. I won't do it yet. I'll do it when we know that those soft tyres could take us to the end. I'm probably just wanting to know how many laps they've done, because that might help us in another Grand Prix later down the line. Because we'll need that knowledge in later races. They are 11% worn. They're 11% worn. So they've done 1 round of qualifying. An out lap, a flying lap, and an in lap. So they're 10% worn. So when it says used softs, provided we know we've not used more than just new ones, then that used set should almost always be a set that has done 1 run in qualifying. A set of softs like that will probably have about 9 laps in them. We started on a brand new set, didn't we? And we went to lap 12 before pitting. So if they've done 3 laps already, an out lap, a flying lap, and an in lap, then in theory they should have 9 laps left in them to get them to the rate of wear that we had on our first set of softs. So they'll have between 7 and 10 laps worth of race pace in them. So we shouldn't put that set of softs on unless we are at least at lap 50. But that's knowledge that we can utilise in every Grand Prix moving forward now. Because I'm always curious, and I always say, don't I wish you could find out how worn that used set is. Well, now we know. It'll be a set that you've done 1 run in qualifying on, provided you haven't already run a set of used tyres in the Grand Prix. And the gaps behind us are still growing as well. At this stage, with tyre wear as it is, the gaps behind us are still growing. But Tsunoda is right on Ocon. Look, Ocon is right on Tsunoda. There's only 3/10, if that, between them. Ocon could very well catch us before the end of the Grand Prix if he gets past. But because Tsunoda's fighting so hard to keep that P9, it means that they are still continually losing time. So if and when Esteban does get past, the gap to me might, by that point, be uncatchable. Now, ultimately, that's what the challenge is, isn't it? It's to get from the start to the finish as quickly as possible. And you finish where you finish. But to get there as quickly as possible, you need to, at times, avoid losing time battling with someone else. And that's what they're doing. And that's what's stopping them closing down on P8, where I am right now. They're too busy fighting one another and can't close me down. Ocon is losing too much of his overall race time battling other cars, which is a major reason why we are where we are and why we'll get the finish that we're going to get. Ocon's still not past Tsunoda. Never mind, as soon as I say that, Ocon passed Tsunoda.
Okay, gap to the car ahead is 11.
Now we see what Esteban's got in the locker. He's going to have to catch me by a second a lap, though, if he wants to get past. Now I've gotten the hang of it, I don't hate Miami as a track. If it was a case of either Miami or Jeddah wasn't on the calendar anymore, then I would pick to race Miami and not race Jeddah every single time. I despise Jeddah as a racetrack. So as we start our final lap, 57 of 57 here around the Miami circuit, we are definitely going to be finishing P8. Now there is a battle for the lead. If you look at the minimap, there's a Mercedes with a Ferrari that is literally about to change positions. I think the Ferrari has just taken the Mercedes for the lead of the Grand Prix on the last lap. Because last time I looked, the Mercedes was in front. So if you look at the minimap, going down the main straight now, that Mercedes is going to have DRS and is going to be trying to go for a last gasp move into that corner at the end for the win of the Grand Prix. George Russell against, I presume, Charles Leclerc. Sorry, Carlos Sainz fans. And it looks like the Ferrari has held out, and Charles Leclerc overtakes the Mercedes on the last lap to win the Grand Prix. Unbelievable from Charles Leclerc, which is huge as well for the title race, because George would have taken the lead of the drivers' standings had he managed to make that pass on the last lap, or had he been able to hold off Leclerc's advances prior to him trying to take the lead back on the last lap. You can see Esteban Ocon behind. He's closed the gap from 10 to 2.5. But unfortunately for him, all that time lost battling Yuki Tsunoda has cost him the opportunity to finish any higher than P9. We, however, are going to finish P8. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our joint second best... No, not even our joint second best. Second best finish outright ever. 4 World Championship points for the cheese as Nico Hülkenberg gets driver of the day. P22, or might even be P21, all the way up to P13, I believe. A Ferrari 1 and 3, a Mercedes 2 and DNF, as Lewis didn't finish the Grand Prix. Unfortunately for him, his engine went pop. It did mean that we made an extra position. Started 12th, finished 8th. Oh, in the end, Nico was 15th, up 7 positions. So, Mick, we might well have finished ahead of. Lewis would have beaten me. Lando would have beaten me. But without the safety car, all those DNFs, I think we were genuinely on for a P10 on outright pace anyway. But we will absolutely take those 4 points. And you'll notice the driver standings at the top. Well, no, it wasn't George. Charles Leclerc is actually battling with Carlos Sainz. It must have swung since we last looked at it. I kind of remembered George being a couple of points off Charles. Must have been the other way around. Charles was a few points behind Carlos. We're up to 13th in the driver's standings now from 15th, as we have points on the board. And in the constructors, it's going to be Ferrari from Red Bull and Mercedes. Red Bull on 111, Mercedes on 102. And we've rocketed Chesnoid Racing up to P7. Even though we've only got 1 points finish, we go above Haas, who have had 3 1-point finishes with Mick Schumacher. We've had 1 4-point finish with Cheese. So that's going to be us up to P7 in the constructors, which is better than we finished last year. It's going to give us a big boost team-wise. As you can see, up to level 17, I believe. There we go. We'll get a 4th sponsor in the car once we reach level 20, which is still a way off. We'll be getting level 15 as a driver before we get level 20 as a team. But I can select the winner of the prediction, or winners of the prediction on the Twitch channel in chat whilst we move on. So I have 1,147 resource points now. Does that mean I can afford anything else? There was something that was close. That's 1,400. That's 1,400. That's 1,000. I could do rear downforce. I could do rear downforce immediately. I could also perhaps do weight redistribution. Weight reduction would probably be better than weight redistribution. I could do tyre wear as well, which could also be valuable. I think I'm going to go for the... tyre wear, actually. Because if I put more downforce on the car, it's going to push the car into the ground more, which is going to wear tyres more. So if I do the tyre wear first, then that means that we can put more downforce into the car next, and we will not have a negative loss on tyre wear. We'll be further ahead. So I'm pleased with that. Right, now, money. What do we do facility-wise? I could do quality control on the chassis, and that would mean that tyre wear thing would pass more readily. So I'm going to do that. We've still got £1.3 million available. I perhaps need to start doing some of this in the personnel to improve my second driver, to improve Nico. But at the minute, I'm wanting to concentrate my funds on facilities that facilitate my advancement. It's selfish, but it's what you're all here for. You're not here to see the team do well. If we're honest, you're here to see me do well. So I'm going to try and do well. We are still the third slowest car. Sorry, third slowest car. 9th fastest. But with the advancements we're putting on the car, we will jump up what is currently the status. But obviously other teams are in development themselves. We might have something for the next race, the magnetic compound. We will indeed. Our ERS should get a boost provided that passes between now and the Spanish Grand Prix, which we know is which it has done. We know is going to be very, very difficult. It's always really tough around Spain. Chassis upgrade is done as well in time for the tyre wear to stand a better chance of completing. I have £2 million available to me now. I could go and upgrade something here, but I don't know if I want to. Racecraft awareness and focus. That's probably going to be worth it for Nico. As much as I just rambled on, that's probably going to be worth it. Now, how long has he got left on his contract? Just over a month. Now, I'm going to have to bear that in mind because at some point we're going to need to renew contracts. And at present, certainly we're going to be very much well worth just keeping Nico on at $5 million than we are replacing him with anyone else. So for now, it's a case of save money, continue to save resource points as we have been, and we'll take it race at a time. But points in the bag. That's all for this one on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Do drop the video a like if you've enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel too to make sure you don't miss out on any more content. Follow me on the link in the description to Twitch. You can come and watch the full races live as well. For now, though, next video will be the day after tomorrow, as I'm having a day off streaming. But as you see this, the next stream is tomorrow. So come and join me for that, for the Spanish Grand Prix. I will see you next time.